Hi! So I promised you all that I would make a little tutorial video on the construction and how Cyclo is knit. Cyclo is a fauxbius, which means that it's worked as a rectangle and then grafted together into a Mobius shape. And it is built with short row garter stitch wedges that are separated by these yarn over lines, and then rectangular garter stitch sections that are also separated by those yarn over lines. And then to finish it off, it has an integrated beaded I-cord edging. So I just want to show you a little bit about that construction because it is unexpected. And then I'll show you how to work that beaded integrated edging and how to work short rows if you've never worked them before. So rows 1 through 20 of the first garter stitch triangle are worked back and forth like this. So you're working less and less stitches as you work that first short row garter stitch triangle. And then you work a yarn over line that separates the triangle from the next one that you work, which is rows 24 through 44. And then you work another yarn over line and then 2 garter stitch rectangles that are also separated by a yarn over line. And then you basically repeat all of these rows over and over until you finish the number of repeats called for in the pattern. I hope that that makes sense. If you have any questions, please ask them. I'm happy to help. Let's jump right into knitting Cyclo. So the first thing that you need to do to knit Cyclo is provisionally cast on 17 stitches. I have a whole video tutorial that shows how to do that. So if you've never worked a provisional cast on before, go ahead and watch that video. It's at www.nelkendesigns.com/tutorials. So here we are. I've got 17 stitches provisionally cast onto my needle, and I'm going to go ahead and work the setup row, which is a wrong side row, and I'm knitting across to the last 3 stitches, and then those last 3 stitches I'm going to slip purlwise with the yarn in front, and I just want to show you how that is done. So knitting across. This is a good time to check your email very, very, very quickly. Come right back though. Don't pause the video. Here we go, coming across. And then onto those last 3 stitches. I'm going to bring my yarn to the front of my work, and then I'm going to take those 3 stitches and I'm going to slip them purlwise onto my right hand needle. And now I'm going to turn my work around. And what this is right here is we're working the integrated I-cord edging. So this yarn's going to come around the back and we're going to go ahead and work this first stitch again. And that's going to get knit with a bead. So I'm sliding the bead up so that it is onto the right hand needle, and then I'm able to pull that bead through so you can see it's right on the new stitch I just made. And now I'm going to knit one, and then I'm going to go into knit another stitch with 1 bead. This is row 1 here. Sliding the bead up, wrapping the yarn around. The trick here is to not have the bead slid up all the way so it touches the right hand needle. You want it on the working yarn so it becomes part of that stitch right there. And now I'm going to knit across to the last 4 stitches so I can show you how a short row is worked. Knitting across, knitting across. Here we go. All of a sudden we're at the last 4 stitches. I'm going to bring my yarn to the front of my work, and then I am going to slip this next stitch to the right hand needle purlwise, bringing my yarn to the back of the work at the same time, and I'm going to slip that stitch back onto the left hand needle, turn my work, bring my yarn to the back, and I'm ready to work back across. Now you see these last 3 stitches have not gotten worked. Those are not going to get worked until you go to work row 21 of the short rows. So it seems like that is a thing that really throws people for a loop because they're working this and they're like, I'm not working the attached beaded I-cord on one side of my work. I think I'm doing this wrong. And you're not. When you're working this first short row triangle, you're only working the I-cord, beaded I-cord edging up one side, and then you'll be working it up on the other side when you go to work the next triangle. So I've made it to the last 3 stitches. I brought my yarn to the front, and I am slipping these 3 stitches and then turning my work around again. Now, on this next row, I've got these beads right here that I had worked on the previous row, and I'm going to have those beads be all the way to the back of the left-hand needle here so that they're on the left leg of the stitch when I go to knit into that stitch. And then they are just perfectly in place right there. Do you see where they're popping right on the left leg of the stitch? And now just keep working this whole section through row 20. All of the techniques I have already shown you in that section. Okay, well, I have just finished row 20 and I'm ready to work row 21. And on row 21, I'm working the I-cord edge right here with beads. And then I'll be working across, picking up those wraps that I did and working them together with the stitch. This is the row where I work all the way across all 17 stitches. So I am knitting one with 1 bead, which you should be old hat at by now, and then knit 1, and then knit 1 with 1 bead. This will get easier the more that you do it. This is a knit stitch, and then the next stitch, the stitch with the wrap on it, and I'm going to go through the wrap and through the stitch and work them together. Sometimes you need to lift that wrap over separately. So then I'm going to come through the wrap, through the stitch, and work them together. And through the wrap, through the stitch, working them together. Do that all the way across to the other side, and then you will begin with row 22 working back the other way. So you're going to begin your attached I-cord edging with the beads over on this side. So I've just taught you everything that you need to know to knit Cyclo. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. Either myself or someone in my Ravelry group will be more than happy to help you knit your own Cyclo. Happy knitting!